Hello everyone and welcome back to KitbashCarnage. So today we're going to try and make a Dark Commune unit for our army, the Mutant Bears of Fate. So we have a few Necrons here, so we'll use these two Necrons to make the sword dudes. Sorry about the not right names and stuff. We're going to use this figurine we got from Cree, an Oni Games Cree, link in the description to the video of that. And then another guy we have here who we got from Timu. He had wings on him, but we clipped them off to make another project with. And then another dude and a few more bits. So we have some banners that we're going to use to make the banner holder guy. And then the head, this also came with the Oni Games Cree. This little head. We got two of these, so we're going to use one, just stick it to the figurine it came with, and then the other to use with a different model. And then we have obviously the swords and just lots of bits that we're just going to end up using just to make this, attempt to make this unit. We'll start off with these guys. So I need to take these Necrons off the bases, so, there we go. Hopefully the next one will come off quite easy. Use snips if they don't come off as easy as these are, but thankfully they are, so we'll just keep them bases aside. We always reuse bases here, no point throwing them out, we'll just reuse them. And then we'll get our swords out, because we're going to start on these guys. Hold on, I'll just find this. Yeah. I never seem to have too many bits lying around. It all just blends in. There we go. It all blends into each other as I throw the other bits around the place. Alright, let's put these back in here nice and safe out of the way. And we're going to have to try find some heads or something for these guys. So you know what time it is? It's bits time. So this is a wee storage unit that I have for just some chaos heads that I use. And then I have another one here with little bits in it, just random stuff. So we have swords and like technical bits and spikes, and just it's always good to have these things because they keep everything organized, especially when my life is just pure carnage when it comes to this hobby. So having somewhat organization is key, just to find these bits. So like I have, for instance, them little individual pod type things are all full of the same head, and you know there's two heads there that I could just take out and then use them for the exact same models, since they're kind of like twins. And then we'll just dip into our arms box here, and we'll just try find us a left and right arm, since they're going to be, I think we'll figure out what's going on here halfway into it. You know, we don't really kind of plan that much ahead. We planned somewhat ahead. I got some bits out. I got enough bits to make 5 people, or units, or soldiers, or Dark Commune guys, or whatever you want to call them. And then I'm just going from there. So I just orientate these in a certain way, just so we can see how many bits we have, and then we'll just get cracking with the actual process of sticking all this stuff together. So thankfully, for your sake, I sped all this up. Leave it in the comments if you do like the way I am editing these videos. Not to stroke my ego or nothing, but it's actually to figure out if I am doing this in, because I can watch these back as much as possible, you know. My partner watches the videos, and see whether she's telling the truth or not, she says I do a good job. But I would like other constructive criticism from any of you guys, any of my subscribers. Please do leave constructive criticism, if any, just to help along the editing process and help me make a better video or viewing experience for you, and also for me going back and editing all this, because yeah, we tend to cut out a lot of waffles. I do apologize. I'm going to start booking English classes, I swear. I promise, guys. I'll start to learn English all over again, just to be able to speak properly. But thank you everybody from the bottom of my heart. I don't know why that's ever saying. Why did I say the bottom of your heart? The top of my heart seems more appropriate, because that's like, I don't know. So yeah, we'll just get cracking. Back to the commentary about what I'm actually doing here. So we just rolled some balls of green stuff up here, and then we're just sticking them into the sockets where we kind of want these arms to be, making sure that we use a silicone tool or a tool of this nature. Some people use metal tools, so you can even use a stick, a little popsicle stick to do this, or your finger. Just wet your finger beforehand. Always remember though, when using fingers, to join objects, that you would be left with your fingerprint. So if it's going to be seen, which this won't, so this is why we're not trying to be as precise. As you've seen in the picture at the beginning, these guys holding the swords have cloaks over them, so we don't have to be that precise where you actually put the green stuff. It's just to get the position of the arms, and then we'll cover that with some type of cloak, whether it be make it out of green stuff or an actual type of fabric or something. And then this is another little thing, that whether we do it or not, but if you get some type of fabric, cut it into a cloak or a poncho or whatever it may be, and then super glue over that, it will kind of dry into a certain position. So it's just a quick tip for making a quick little cloak on the fly. Green stuff is all fair and well, but it's more finicky and you need a little bit more time to just mess around with it. So I leave that dude over there to dry and just get started on the next bit. So I get this banner off the banner holder guy. Guys, I do apologize. Like, I have the Chaos card, data pack cards and everything. I have the codex, I have it all. I just need time to actually read the thing. I'm started a new job recently and I'm working crazy hours just trying to get that money up to support this hobby that I've dove headfirst into. It's not cheap. I found that out 17 years ago when I was actually into this hobby at the beginning. Whether you know or not, guys, I used to be into this hobby 17 years ago. I was basically a warhammer Kitbash fanatic, and gradually just fell off the playing field because I went to a huge tournament and about 600 to 700 quid worth of stuff got stolen all at once out of a big case that I had, and the event organizers or nobody basically helped me, so I kind of just withdrew from the whole community and stayed in the shadows, shall it be. But I'm back now, so thank you very much for all your support. I do appreciate it. We're getting back to the hang of doing all the kit bashing, and all the techniques and skills are slowly but surely coming back to me. Behind the scenes, I have a few big projects coming up, which take months and months to do, so we'll eventually release some updates on them when I think I have enough footage or enough updates to be fit to post or for you to see, because as I said, I rarely have time to do anything nowadays, so I'm doing bits here and there. So basically we just chopped off the arms that were attached to that banner that we're going to be using for the banner gentleman. Oh, and then the other fellow, he posed his arms, stuck them together, and he had a wee gun, so we just chopped that away. We'll keep that for future, use it as some type of base scenery or mechanic mechanism. And then we're just using some green stuff to hold this pole in position for where the banner is going to be put in place. And I'm very impatient with green stuff, so I just stick a bit of glue on it, super glue, and that speeds up the process. The green stuff just holds it in place, while the super glue actually hardens it. So this is kind of the position I'm looking for this guy. I wanted him levitated, so he came with wings and I chopped them off, which gave him a levitating pose. And I was kind of going with that. I wanted to stay with that in my head, so I'm figuring in my head while I'm doing all this, I'm actually trying. That's why if you think I look lost where I'm putting my hands, is I'm just thinking about what I'm doing ahead of time. I'm kind of like, I'm actually doing this, thinking about what I'm doing, but then it's like there's an extra person in my brain kind of planning the next steps ahead as well. A lot of thinking to do, and a lot of learning how to speak English to say the word. So as you see here, basically all I'm doing is putting a bit of water on my mat here, my hobby mat, And then I'm putting some green stuff out. You see me just pull it apart there just to stretch it out a bit more, speed up the process. And then we're sticking it on the mat, and then we're flattening it with a popsicle stick, and that's going to just flatten it out. It helps with some water to not let it stick, and we'll get that as thin as possible in order to create the cloak that's going on the banner guy. Apologies that a lot of this is off camera. I tend to, now and again you see my hand shoot back into frame. That's me looking through the camera and noticing that I'm completely off frame. So apologies for that. But all I'm doing here was I cut a little slit directly at the top where it's going to connect to the shoulders. Wrapped the green stuff around the banner there just to hide their crimes at the beginning. And here I'm using our silicone tipped tool just to push it in, to attach it to the model, to actually give it that bond, the green stuff and the resin model and the plastic banner pole and all this, just to give it a good bond. And then we will use another tool, whether it be our hobby knife or the same tool. Here we go, there's the hobby knife. And we'll just make little scores in it, and this creates, not only does it create the scores, but it helps when molding or putting the cape in a certain position, because where you score is actually going to be thinner. The green stuff has a tendency to want to kind of fold in that position, if that makes sense. Sort of. It works out and it doesn't work out. So you have to mess around with green stuff. Use different ways how to, like, you can balance stuff to let gravity do the work in a lot of cases. Gravity is your friend. So we'll just go with the flow here. So next we're going to start on the guy who holds the head. So we'll take that second head that we got from that miniature in the Only Games crate, and we'll use that and create some green stuff supports here. Now, these are going to be the main supports to the miniature and from the head, so basically making these one. So hence the reason I'm using green stuff, and they're quite thick in order to create that bond, so it makes the miniature one piece instead of it's like stuck together with glue. It is going to be stuck together with glue, but the actual green stuff bonds to the material, so it'll be harder to like break off. As well, with the mixture we're using here, it's more of a yellow ratio than a blue ratio, and that makes, so basically using more yellow to blue in making the green stuff, that makes the green stuff a little bit more malleable and soft, so less of a chance for it to just snap. But we kind of overlook all that by putting super glue on it. So if you don't want it to snap and you actually want to utilize the green stuff mixture to its full advantage, like whether you use more yellow to make it more malleable and bendy, or more blue stuff to make it more brittle, don't put super glue on it if you actually want to utilize the properties of green stuff to the full potential. I use green stuff in different ways, using it to make capes, as you see, using it to just bond two materials together to make one miniature figure, in lots of ways. So, you can use it to make lots of different things, casts, like, there's so many different things you can do with it. And a lot with loads of different molded materials, because I'm not sponsored, so I'm not going to preach one person. There's lots of different stuff you can get out there, guys. If you ever need or want to know about anything I'm using, just ask me, hit me up in the comments, and I'll try to tell you all the equipment I'm using. Or if you ever want to see my hobby bench and all the stuff, just let me know. Maybe we'll put that up. So as you see, we've got the cape here. It's kind of just hardened up there, and then our two guys are posed with our kind of wobbly sword. We'll try hide them crimes later down the line. And then we've got our Only Games crate miniature there, and I'm not sponsored also, so I'm just saying that just so you know what we're kind of using. And then we're gonna get some more green stuff, and using that same technique, we're putting water on your board there and using something flat in order to, so what I'm doing is I'm not just pushing down, I'm pushing down and pushing outwards in order to stretch the material, also while flattening it. So flattening it. I'm not going to edit any of this just so we can all laugh together. Yeah, so I'm just making obviously this more flattened. And then we're going to use our hobby crafting knife and cut it in a way so we can try get 2 capes out of the one piece. So this is all about just cutting it in a certain way. They do this in factories with big stamps in order to get the most out of the material. So instead of just cutting 1 cape out of this, we'll try get 2 capes because they're kind of a mirror image of one another. If we do the same pattern like on both sides, we should be able to make 2 capes, whether they are suitable to make capes or not, but we'll just see what we can do here. So we get our flat piece there and take out any bits that have stuck to it, whether it be plastic or anything, and line them up in the right orientation, and we'll just cut 2 similar strips out of this and try to make these capes, making sure that you have a thinner end up towards the neck and obviously the more tapered out bottom end near the feet there. So as you see there, we didn't have it as big as we wanted it, so we're just stretching it out that little bit more. It's all about just feeling how it goes, guys. You know, just making sure it takes time. This all takes time, you know, as you can tell with an hour-long video nearly. But doing this like takes time. The process of feeling how the material's working with the scenario right here and now. Like, you could pick up a material and go, oh, I know exactly how to use this, but if you're not having a good day, or you know, if it's too warm out, if it's too cold, all this factors in and how the material ends up working out. If you have a cough and you keep coughing constantly and you can't keep a steady hand, you know, like I said, if it's too warm out and the material actually doesn't harden, or takes too long to harden, or hardens too quick, or anything like this, when it's too hot or too cold, it all plays factor. So just, things will take time. You will eventually just know how it will work for you. Also, apologies again for keep on going out of frame. All I'm doing here, you'll see now and again, I'm just using the silicone tool to push the material along the face to make that hood kind of on him. But also keep the face visible, because I don't want to bang on the camera and everything. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm an absolute shambles sometimes. But thanks for sticking by me. We have 190 subscribers while I am recording this right now. So 190 subscribers. I am flabbergasted that 190 people want to watch me talk absolute garbage when it comes to the English language because I can't speak, and watch my crazy antics. But I am so appreciative of each and every one of you. Thank you so much for sticking by, and that's not like being sarcastic or anything. I really appreciate you all. Thank you for watching an Irish man just have a bit of fun and make some stuff, and just, yeah, this is something that I dropped for so long, and yeah, we're back. So as you see, we're literally just taking strips with our hobby knife off the green stuff that we're going to use for our second cape. Hopefully we're not taking too much. And then using our other tools here just to put these strips in place in order to create a belt, or the look of a belt, or some type of pull string, something to hold this cape up. Because although it's a fantasy realm, or, you know, sci-fi, all this, you still need to realize that somewhat of physics, even to the eye, exists. Hence the reason you have folds and clothing, and you know, like all this is there for a reason. If you had a cape that was just dead straight and you had the pose that he was going forward, it doesn't look as realistic as if there was the cape was in the wind or flowing the way the direction the miniature was going. And you get me, like a little bit of realism on top of non-realism is the perfect combination for perfection in your eyes. not perfection in general, but perfection in your eyes. Your eyes. I'm not telling you what to do. Listen, I'm proper waffling. So just make sure you get a nice bond with the green stuff and the miniature you're using or anything you're using. Making sure that the green stuff has a nice hold onto that in order to, so when it dries it doesn't just fall apart or just fall off the actual miniature itself. So you can see I'm actually trying to pull the green stuff underneath the blade here, or the, what's it called, hazard, something like that, I don't know, underneath the bottom of the sword, just in order to scalp. No, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, yeah, just to make a bit more realism there, and then using our pliers there just to pull the green stuff across the shoulder. We're going to try hide our crimes here later down the line with something on top of that, like a badge or a pin, something just to hide that big crease that you have over the, or that I have over the miniature. And then once again we're snipping bits of green stuff off just to make it so there's like something draping over him, keeping this cloak towards each other, you know, something like a drop pin, you know, something, you know, so it's not just sitting over his back like someone's just throwing a duvet over him or something like that. And then next we'll just get this little dude out. So we need some more green stuff for this. And this is what I was talking about with the ratio. So you will know yourself what you're gonna do. So just make the ratio for what you need. So in this case I took a little bit more yellow than I did blue, and that's going to create it so the material can kind of be more malleable. And that's what I want right now. I want to be able to work fast right now on this because, like I said, I have no time. So getting our little bits boxes out, and as you can see, this is where organization comes in handy. Being able to just get these projects bashed out within a day is key with little organization tips like this. So we just reach in and get the whatever bits we're looking for, and all we have to do is open a little thing here, the lid. This is like a ornament kind of like little box, so we have stuff we can stick on just to give more character to miniatures. So as you can see here, there's just random bits, a skull and a chain, there's just stuff you can stick on the hips, there's lots of little bits. So as we just look through all these, we're just getting everything that we think for now we shall need. We can always go back and get more bits or put bits back. We should have a counter up in the corner here for bits. Bits. Yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. I won't do that, Jay, don't worry. Or will I? Bits. So we'll just go through some more stuff here and get the ones we're looking for. So this is like our kind of engineering, kind of electrical box bit here. So we get a few stuff. Now I do this kind of in size as well. I know I'm a bit special. So it's all done in size just to make it that little bit more organized. We've got wires together and little stuff together. You know, it's easier to have all these together. It just makes the process so much faster, in my opinion. So you'll see us throughout this video obviously using green stuff to help us stick stuff on, or just help us create nodules or pus pores and all this like stuff, just to give that more chaosy, corrupted, demon wordberry kind of look. Have a look at our lore for this army. It's on my Instagram. I think it's on my story still, or I might pin it. And have a little read about it. I still need to add to it, but this whole word bearers, mutant bearers of fate army that I have is based on a whole lore. Kind of basically, it's like a separate unit that when the word bearers awoke again or came back, you know, from the city that they were. I don't know much about it. All I know is that the Lord Emperor, or whatever his name is, told them all that you did well, but you're being punished by you have to stay here or something or one another. Basically screwed them over. But in my eyes, because he did that, some of the word bearers broke off and said, you know what, we're sick of this. We're absolutely sick of it. Getting everyone's taking the mickey out of us and just won't give us any respect or anything like that. So, do you know what we're doing? We're just going to stay here. And they basically kneeled on one knee, stayed in the city that they captured, and they just let time just pass, and the warp fed off them, and they just chanted their faith more, and they grew more. They fed off these demons, and the demons then corrupted them and became part of their armor. That then the scenery, like the vegetation, grew over their armor, and they became more mutated, and they got a symbiotic kind of soul demon with their armor. And you know, it's just all demonic chaos. And have a little read and see how you think, and obviously give us some constructive criticism on that too. I'd love to know if any of my subscribers is into writing lore or anything. Please do have a drop in the comments if any of you do anything like that. Maybe we can collaborate together or something. So throughout the video, you just see me use little bits that I have left over. It looks like scrap bits, but that's what I love doing. Just getting like a little dollop of green stuff and just squishing it and sticking it there. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're getting bits of guitar wire and just twisting them, making. Basically, what I'm trying to do here is I'm making it look like there's an explosion from the miniature. I think the miniature is actually a good looking miniature. Okay, it looks alright the way it is, the holding the head, the chainsaw, it looks badass. So what I'm trying to do is just put my touch onto it. So I'm bending some guitar string, we're going to whack some green stuff in there to get the bond, and then we're going to stick the guitar string. So to make it look like there's an explosion of tentacles or chaos mutantness coming out from the back of it, just underneath where the sword is, keeping all the original detail in there with holding the head and the big chain sword and, you know, the cloak and all. It actually looks quite good. It also has little scroll pins in the front of it, so it's ideal for the word bearers. So I think this little touch here, although minuscule, gives it that little bit more to add into the army and the unit altogether. So then, reciprocating that same technique, we're just going to file this flat in order to stick a piece on here that kind of looks like an engineering kind of electrical piece. That would just cover that kind of little green stuff lump that we have going on there. So we're just gonna try figure out how we can place this without sticking to our fingers. Let's have a nice, there we go, nice little position there. Kind of looks like it's a, I don't know, a motor starter motor or something. I don't know, like just something coming out of his back, you know. It gives it that little aesthetic look. Then we're going to stick this onto his shoulders here to look like this is what's holding the cape onto his back. And then we'll add a little bit of green stuff onto each corner just to help stick it on. Apologies again, guys, for always kind of going out of camera for a while. I'm still learning like how to. It's actually much harder than it looks to stay in camera, the view of the camera while you're just doing this. You get kind of carried away at what you're doing and forget to notice that the miniature has came closer and closer to your face, and now you're completely off camera and all that you've been filming is your knuckles. So yeah, bear with me. Thank you very much. If you stay tuned this long, if you are right here, right now, right here, right now, if you're here, leave a comment with your hand, with that emoji with your two hands up, and then I'll know that you have got to the 30-minute mark, or the 30-minute mark. Right, well, this is where we've got so far. Stuck that thing on his chest area and then covered his back, and then we've got the cape on these guys, so we're going to stick this on his side while that green stuff is still soft. I might stick a little bit of super glue down just to make them 100% sure, or we just not do that instead. So we've put this is a little. I found these are like two little, or looks to be like whips. So I'll stick these on the. Alright, there goes the tip of the. Alright, never mind. Now we'll stick these whips on the back, and a little skull on cross, or skull on chain, shall I say, not a cross. In there, slide it in there, and yeah. Sorry about how clumsy I am as well, guys. I can be quite clumsy when I do this, but we'll stick the whips on the back there. I think they look a bit cool. We'll stick some stuff on the sides just to make his waist kind of stand out that much more, and then we'll eventually fix the tip of the sword later down the line. But making sure we stick a lot of super glue down just to speed up the process. As I said, the green stuff will take a little bit of a while to harden, so we'll stick that super glue down just to speed all this up. So yeah, here's a few pictures of what it looks like. So we have lots more to do, but this is just what we have so far. You can see the little bits that I've added in there just to give the miniatures that little bit of character, and to make what we have done stand out that little bit more as well. Just adding little bits here and there just to increase what you have done, just to make it pop that bit more. I hope this makes sense to you guys. I really do. So we're going to get cracking on the next guys. So we'll get started on the guy who he's like holding a head or a floating brain or something. So we're just going to use that other head that we got from that other crate there, in that only games crate thing. So we're just organising our bits, making sure we have them all. And then we're going to obviously first of all, we're going to cut this tongue off the other miniature. And this is literally just to make this one stand out, because the tongue on the other one is still sticking out. If we cut the one off if we cut this one off, then it will hopefully make them stand out that little bit more. Not that they won't look dissimilar, but at least the tongue is off on one, the tongue's in on the other, so there's that little bit of difference between the two. And as you've seen there, we just went into our bits boxes and we got ourselves some swords here, or daggers, and these we're just going to line up here ever so carefully. Probably frustratingly dropped them many times, but we'll put these in a certain position that we're happy with, so it looks like they're just resting on the hip there, just behind the head. Right, now I'll get cracking on this guy. So we're definitely going to need some more green stuff here, so I'll cut a little bit off, just preemptively knowing we're going to need some. And using our trusted kneading technique, we're going to just make this up and use it to stick some more bits on. So we have just some random bits here we're going to use in order to create the look of this. So I'm just going to stick this bit underneath there. I'm looking to stick this under the chin, and then I'm going to add another bit on top of that, and then another bit on that, and so on and so forth. And then we'll come out with something that looks like what we wanted it to look like, but probably looks like nothing that we want it to look like. But it will look like something other than what it was, and that's half the struggle, is to make it look like something other than what it was, and something along the lines of what you wanted it to be. If we get that far, we'll be happy. Once again, just making sure you have your silicone tool there to push in, or any type of tool really, just to push in the green stuff to make that bond more secure. We have to remember these are two separate pieces of material, so in order to create them as one and create a nice hard bond there, we need to make sure that either the green stuff or the super glue or anything that you're using to create that bond is firmly in place, because once that hardens up, it could easily just fall off unless it's actually sticking to the piece you're trying to stick it to. I hope that makes sense. So as you see here, we're just using some small bits of green stuff on the ends here just to try and stick them together. I noticed obviously one's longer than the other, so we're going to try orientate these, or orientate, orange tate, what am I saying? Orientate, what is going on here? We're going to try and do this in a way that it works. Yeah, yeah, oh, okay. So I'm just sticking some more mechanical kind of electrical bits sticking out of him here, just to create that look that we're going for. So these are all bits that I got from that Warhammer eBay lot, and many more stuff from eBay that I've been getting. But you'll be happy to know I've bit the bullet and got a printer. So, I mean, shh, tell nobody. Soon to come, I'll show you some stuff that I'm going to be doing with that. Still in the box, I haven't even get out of the box yet. But we'll see what happens and figure this out. This is another journey we're going to have to go on together. How exciting. Yeah. So as you see, we're still just struggling just trying to keep these in place. To add some more super glue, because the green stuff is not hardening obviously fast enough, because it has such a long working time. Well, such a long working time for me, because I want to like get everything done in 5 minutes. So we'll just have a look at what we have done so far, adding bits on here and there, obviously pushing down this bit here so we can add on the kind of pin that I was talking about earlier. It's like just a little symbol. We're just going to add that on the shoulder. Hides up a bit of crimes that we had there and creates the effect that there's like a pin or something holding this whole cape together, like over his shoulder. So we're just going to add a few more bits here and there. I thought the back of these guys with cloaks look a little bit bare, so even the actual miniatures that you get kind of just is just a cloak. So along with the whip that we put on there, I'm cut up a few blades that I think came from like another miniature set, like a Lord of the Rings miniature set or something. And we're going to cut them off, and we're just going to make it look like they're sticking out of the back, as if he's got stabbed in the back type of thing. Or these are just in his back, and then picture like they're just stuck there, and then when he loses his big sword, he can literally turn his arm backwards, grab one of the swords, and it rips out of his back, and then he then has more weapons to fight with. How cool does that sound? Like, that sounds cool to me anyway. So this is what we're going for. I think it looks kind of nice. So earlier I was saying we got this miniature and originally had a big set of wings on it, but I took them off in order to use for a later project. But because I had wings on it, it still has that levitating kind of pose. So we're going to use that to our advantage. As I said earlier, I kind of want to keep that kind of look. Plus it would be too much hassle trying to repose the whole miniature. So we're going to drill a hole through here and then use our trusty old friend paperclip. And then the paperclip is then going to keep this miniature on the base itself. And then we'll use more paperclip or guitar string or something, or green stuff, just more stuff just to kind of hide the paperclip within the model itself. So here I just bent the paperclip and then I'm forcing it down with some green stuff. And then I will probably like either super glue that or stick something over it just to keep that in place. We don't want the paperclip moving around back and forth because that will reverberate up to the actual model itself and make the model move back and forth. So we want this paperclip to be as steady as possible, and using that green stuff when it does harden will, especially because it's the ratio it looks like it's more of a yellow ratio. It will give it a little leeway, so it will wobble or will tilt, but it won't snap off, which is much more preferred than a sudden snap, because unless you're carrying super glue, which most hobbyists do have a little repair kit with them. Personally, I carry a little repair kit. I do forget it sometimes, so having a miniature that will flex and bend rather than snap and break is kind of, in my opinion, a win-win. Now I don't mean flex and bend as in the whole thing is just a pile of mush, but you know what I mean. I would have loved to have done something in order to create the bending kind of effect with the kind of flag he's holding. So I'm hoping the little bit of green stuff I did use to attach it does the job. And here you can just see the progress so far that we've got done. I really like them swords we stuck in the back there. It kind of gives it the miniature more character, but not only that, it more depth. Like it was kind of just like a wall. It was kind of just flat, if that makes sense. He was just like a brick wall, and then because of them swords, it looks like there's more depth to the character. It pushes more backwards, obviously, because you can see the handles of the sword there. But it just, I don't know, it creates an effect that I'm really liking. So, as you may or may not know, the Mutant Bears of Fate, our army based on the word bears, the lore to it is kind of like a Slaneshi, Nurgly lore. So a lot of tentacles and stuff are used in it. Gore and mutatedness, like pus nodules and all those nodules, whatever they're called. You know, like, it's to make it look kind of more mutated-y. So we're using a bit of green stuff here that we made previous in earlier videos. We just roll up pieces like this, and we're just wrapping it around the flagpole up into the piece there, and then we're going to add a little bit on top just to create the finished effect. And while that's drying, we'll just add some guitar string wire into bits of green stuff that we're adding onto the back here, just to make it look like the guitar string is actually coming out of the back itself, like their tentacles coming out itself. And that will once again make this little effect that we're going for. So when in doubt, more glue, you know the saying that we go by. And sometimes people overlook, but I'm a bit of a hypocrite here because I probably have done it loads of times in the video, but holding the miniature or anything you're trying to let set with glue, if you hold it or let it rest somewhere, letting gravity help you, so orientate the actual miniature so as wherever the bit is, it's falling towards gravity. Because think about it, if you're trying to make something stick under something, it has a tendency to want to fall off it. But if you flip that whole thing opposite, like the other way around, and now that thing you're trying to make stick to that other thing is going against gravity, like it's pushing downwards, but the bit is underneath it, so it can't go through the physical object unless it creates some type of phase mechanism. Then it's going to help you. It's going to be more stable, and gravity's free, so why not take advantage of it? Take advantage of it. So yeah, this is what we've got so far. I'm thinking everything's looking quite cool. Put a little popsicle stick bit there at the bottom just to help hold the main support wire there. And then a guitar string just in different ways looking like tentacles going along with the lore of the army. I think it looks cool. Like, yeah, this is what I've done. I just didn't want to buy a whole Dark Commune unit as to be generic units. Like, I'd rather make my own, because I'm never going to play proper tournament games with Games Workshop and all this. Like, I just play with friends. So, and even at that, I barely know how to play. So, I like building stuff, and yeah, it's good. Thanks very much for staying with me and watching me build these things that I create in my mind and try to bring to life. I really appreciate it. A lot of these miniatures I've actually come to really like, including this one. Even though I've only put that little bit of detail on it myself, it stands out. It actually looks so. To be honest, that guitar string wire and the stuff I've done on this miniature looks like it was meant to be there. And I say, if the people who made that miniature did something along those lines, it would look even cooler than it does already. I'm proud of this guy as well. Fixing the little electrical thing underneath was quite difficult. I'm half tempted though to snip the last disc there at the bottom to stop him from being attached to the base. I attached him with the base there to see with a bit of green stuff, which will be hid or would have been hid with basic material. But now I'm thinking, like, I don't want it to look like it's attached physically to the floor. I do love the effect that it looks like it's floating in midair. So I might just snip that off and go with that. But who knows? We'll see what happens. And then we've got the twins, the Cape twins, the hooded twin guys with the swords holding in the air and swords sticking out of their backs and whips. And yeah, these guys are quite cool actually. I do like this. The way they've turned out is very nice. And then we ended up getting a piece of that green stuff that was twisted, and we just wrapped that around the sword here. That's just to hide the crimes that the sword is warped 2 bits. But we can just play along with that and say that the tentacle done that. This is our army, and it's your army. Whatever you do, it's your creation. Thank you very much, everyone. Stay tuned. So I'll leave you with some finished video clips of what we have. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And thank you once again, absolutely 190 subscribers of you guys, for sticking with me throughout this journey. Stay tuned for much more. Bits.